Hello, people. Just wanted to rant, and I didn't feel like typing it all on my Facebook, so I've been seeing a bunch of stuff on social media today about like, oh, I match people's energies. If you treat me bad, expect the same. Blah blah blah. And well, I think it's good that people at least are starting to gain like an awareness that a lot of times our natural inclination is to match someone's energy, especially when they treat us negatively. At the same time, when you understand that the gravity of what you're saying, that I let how someone treats me influence the kind of person I am, you realize that that's not like a healthy way to live, you know? Like, we should be the ones that are in control of our energy no matter who we come into contact with, because at least for me, I want to know that I have integrity and I'm the same person with everyone, you know, for better or for worse. And I'd like it to be better, rather, obviously, but you know, there's always room for improvement and we can always keep growing better. But that moment when you decide to let go of responsibility for your own actions and blame it on someone else, that's the moment you're denying yourself the accountability that you deserve. And it can feel really freeing and maybe even relieving to try to blame other people for the actions we take that we later regret. I know it's definitely feels a lot better to think that you're not the one responsible for it, but I've been thinking more and more with all my therapy sessions about how truly empowering it actually is to accept the responsibility that you're in control of your thoughts, your actions, how you treat other people. No one else can change that. And you can say it's someone else's fault, but at the end of the day, you're the one who chose to do that because of a response. And yeah, you can't control the input you get from the external universe. People might be dicks to you, and that's just gonna happen and you can't stop it. But you can choose if you're gonna let it make you angry, make you insecure, make you hateful. You can choose to retaliate and be just like them, and it kind of even makes it worse because you see that it's wrong, but you're still choosing it, and you're blaming someone else for your choice. So it's a lack of self-awareness. Truly, it's a lack of understanding the depths of your own power. And I know I've personally done that more times than I'd like to admit, but the more we can think about these kinds of things and become more conscious of how truly in charge of ourselves we really get to be, the more we start to recognize that in situations and scenarios of like crisis or panic. If it becomes a more common thought in the conscious mind, it trickles down into the subconscious. So that is why really it changes who we are, what we think about. And it makes sense. And I have to think about how I have been the one responsible for becoming resentful or upset or jealous or any of these things that I'm feeling, because I get to pick if I want to feel that way. Even if I feel that way and I think I shouldn't, and I feel like I can't change it, the truth is that I can start thinking things, and maybe I have to say it to myself out loud, and even in my head I'm thinking that's bullshit, but the more you say it, the more normalized that thinking becomes to you, and the more likely you are to begin believing it and adopting that into your map of reality. And for better or for worse too. I think that's how really bad things like sexism and racism and stuff get ingrained in people and normalized, because even if the first time they hear these thoughts about like, oh, certain people are less valuable than you, especially as children, I think loving children, our first thought is, well, that doesn't feel right. But the more and more it's said and enforced with the people around you and yourself, because you trust these people around you and you think that they're right and you want to listen to them. That's just kind of how families work, again, for better or worse. So you hear these things from everyone else, and then you choose, consciously or unconsciously, to begin telling yourself that these are the truth, regardless of how you feel. That these are the facts, regardless of what you think, and unfortunately people can do that with lies or the truth. And so that's where, personal individual discernment comes in, and unfortunately for me, it didn't really hit till my late 20s. And I'm still building it. It's still not where it probably should be, but all we can do with each tool available to us is continue to refine our skill at using it, and something I've really been thinking about too is how like the brain is just it's a tool. It's part of our body, like our heart or our lungs, and it serves a purpose. And granted, it is probably one of the most complex, purposes, personality and thinking skills, judgment, reasoning, all that stuff that can influence every other aspect of your body. But the brain is still kind of one of like the least understood human organs, and it's probably the most important one. And I know that my outlook on life was a lot less beautiful when I felt like I was out of control of myself. I really felt so powerless and so helpless that I thought the world around me controlled me. The world around me shaped me and made me into who I was, but I'm seeing now that I allowed that to happen. I chose to be influenced by the things around me rather than stand firm in what I wanted or what I thought was right or what I thought. I've always tried to do what I think is right, obviously. I think most people do. But at the same time, too, we can be wrong about what's right, And I think having that willingness to accept that I could be wrong is actually something that leads you to being correct more often, because then you're looking at other options too, and you're not just accepting the first thing you think. But yeah, matching other people's energy. I know it sounds like, oh, I get to be karma, instant karma. You want to come at me with suspicious energy, I'm going to be suspicious of you, or you want to be disrespectful, I'm going to be disrespectful. And it's just like, okay, well, you're the one in the situation. They might not know better. They may be ignorant. And there's no innate evil in being ignorant. There is some personal failing in choosing willful ignorance, because that is a choice, and that means being shown something that is true time and time again, having it proven to you, and still choosing to not believe it. And I'm not even sure why that happens, and I don't know. Maybe that means I'm willfully ignorant in places that I haven't figured out yet. But, you can choose that, or you can choose, you can always choose anything, really. This is a world of endless possibility, but we can even choose to let things not affect us at all. We can say someone's rude and yells at me, spits in my face or something. I could choose to stay calm. I could choose to wipe it off or step away, make sure I'm safe, remove myself from what I see as a dangerous situation towards me, and then find, the next logical step to remove this person from the area, from coming back, from anything. Like, I don't have to fight them. I don't have to, I also don't have to, curl up in a ball and cry, even if I'm scared. We have choices that we can make, and it is so hard to think logically in the midst of an issue, or conflict in general, or emergency situations. I'm sure I would probably make some I'm sure I have made dumb choices in situations where I'm not really taking the time to think straight. But again, like I said, the more in regular times where we can think about and prepare, how will I react in times of distress, and then also too, having those times of distress and becoming conscious of the actions we did choose and seeing, where the problem is, what we could improve on. That's what's going to help us then eventually in those conflict moments make the choice that we wish we would. So, I just kind of wanted to rant about matching energies, and sounds nice in theory, but in practicality, if you want to live a life where you are in control of yourself, you can't just match people's energies to give them a taste of their own medicine. You can, that's a choice. Maybe some people need it, I don't know. Every context is different. Some people probably do need their energy matched, but if you're allowing yourself to match everyone's energy that you come in contact with, you're giving all of those people power over something as influential over your decision-making process as your emotions. Do you want to give up your power like that? Because I don't think most people do. But I think, at least I didn't really recognize that that's what was happening in that moment. That when I got angry at someone and I yelled at them, I wasn't choosing to be the kind of person I wanted to be, because I don't want to be a person that yells at people. It doesn't really solve anything in my experience. I grew up in a house full of yelling. No one ever listened, so probably not. It's probably not an effective communication tool. So I get to pick if I want to be the kind of person that yells at another person, even if they're yelling at me, because I get to choose who I am regardless of anyone else in this world, because I don't control anyone else. I don't control anything but my story. And that's my power. I get to write my book, and it sounds stupid and cliche, and it kind of sounds like a no duh, but knowing it in your head and really putting it into practice with your thoughts and your actions and having self-discipline and being self-aware, it's like a lot to do, and I can't even say I do it all the time, but I'm trying to do it more, and it's been helping. And maybe it won't work for you. I don't know. I'm not you. Not everything works for everyone. But maybe it's something for everyone who's been feeling a similar way to me, or has been tiring themselves out with matching people's energy. Maybe this advice will help you figure out a better balanced way to live for yourself. We're not the victims of life. Life doesn't happen to us. We choose what happens in our lives, because half of what happens in life is our reactions to the things outside of our control. There's a quote I read, and I'm just going to paraphrase, but it said, "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional." I remember reading a bit in a book about this guy talking about how, pain, obviously inevitable, it's unavoidable in life, but when we experience pain, we don't have to choose to suffer through it. And I know it's really, really, really hard to pick any other option besides feeling like you're suffering when you're in pain. It's the default response, and it's the easiest one. It takes the least amount of energy, least difficulty to achieve as a response. But more and more life teaches me that the easiest thing is not always the healthiest thing. And oftentimes, the healthiest things require great work and discipline to do for yourselves. Otherwise, everyone would do it. But, yeah. So think about it. When you have to encounter someone that you feel like has a negative effect on your attitude and behavior, think about reclaiming your power from them. Think about empowering yourself and allowing yourself to make choices that are not dependent on some other person. Who are you with everyone? Who are you when you're you? Not when you're with so-and-so or another person or that person. And I get that social camouflaging is definitely just a thing that humans do psychologically. We code switch and we talk differently to different people. And I'm not shit-talking that either. I'm just talking about we need to all be, myself included, more honest with ourselves about what is really within our control and what is our responsibility. Because if we're neglecting our responsibility and putting blame on other people, we're not taking care of ourselves properly. Not the way we should. And I think it's time for everyone to, learn how to properly take care of themselves if they don't know. At least it is time for me. Beyond time, but that's a whole other. Yeah, I hope anyone who watches this gets something good out of it and can find some new techniques for experiencing life. You're in control here. You chose to watch this video. You're doing something. You care a little bit, and you may not have all the answers, but you can choose to figure them out. You can choose to keep asking questions, and if the questions you ask aren't working, you ask different ones, Good luck finding your own energy, and maybe, if it's a good one, maybe other people want to match that or something. I don't know. But all we can really hope for or strive for or build towards or have aspirations for are the things within our control, and that is ourselves. And yeah, keep doing you. Keep stepping into your own power. Bye.